Welcome to Sonix TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars amongst stars. I am Sonix, your host, and we have an exciting show lined up for you today. Last week, we had the honor of welcoming drummer, author, educator, the most recorded drummer in history, John J.R. Robinson, to the show. If you missed episode 11, be sure to check it out. But first, later in the show, we have legends Paul Smith and Donald Bellinger of the exciting, supreme Gospel Hightlights joining us. They will share their journey and exciting updates, plus we have some breaking news just for you. That's right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment. As a music producer, songwriter, musician, and audio engineer, I have had the incredible opportunity to collaborate with legends like David Bowie, Lauryn Hill, Barry White, and work with iconic labels such as Virgin, Capitol, and Warner Brothers Records. Today, I invite you to join me on a journey through the heart of music, entertainment, and technology. Let's dive into the stories and sounds that shape our world. Thank you for being here. Let's make some magic together. The quote of the day comes from the legendary icon, author, Muhammad Ali. If my mind can conceive it, if my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. That's right. If my mind can conceive it, if my heart can believe it, then I can achieve it. In 2021, I released my single, Easy Street, featuring Eric Marienthal from the legendary Chick Corea's Electric Band. I will be sharing that shortly, and I also will be sharing my music video for Broadway, which was directed by our recent guest on episode 4, Brian the Synthman Washington. So next up, we have Easy Street featuring Eric Marienthal. So stay tuned and keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1. That was Easy Street, featuring the one and only Eric Marienthal from the legendary Chick Corea's Electric Band. On bass, we have Walter Jones. We have guitar, we have Johnny J2 Johnson on guitar. And on drums and percussion, we have the world's most recorded drummer in history. He was our guest last week, John J.R. Robinson. So we're grateful that you're here with us today. The chat room is going crazy. We love you guys. We thank you guys for tuning in. So get your questions lined up. We're going to be taking some questions from the chat room today. So get them ready. Get them ready. Soon we'll have our guest joining us, Paul Smith and Donald Bellinger of the legendary group, the Supreme Gospel Hightlights, joining us shortly. So keep it locked right here. We have a lot in store for you today. Coming up next, my music video for Broadway, which was directed by our past and former guest, Brian the Synth Man Washington, movie director, editor. He graciously blessed us with his talents, and so stay tuned and keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1.
This is a world premiere.
That was Broadway, featuring saxophone virtuoso William Prince out of Connecticut. So if you haven't heard his music, please go out and check it out. William Prince, music.net. You should check his music out. This brother is phenomenal. So on all the instruments are played by yours truly, except for guitar, which was added by Johnny J2 Johnson, played with some of the greats, Boys to Men, Eric Benet, just to name a few. So check them out. Check Johnny out as well. Coming up soon, we have the one and only Paul Smith, and we have Donald Bellinger of the exciting, supreme gospel Hightlights coming up. Quartet group, gospel quartet group. You don't want to miss this episode. You do not want to miss these guys. Some amazing brothers. So we're going to be coming up shortly after our intro video. But if you like what you've seen so far, you like what you've heard, please subscribe and like the channel right down below. Subscribe and like down below. Yes, please. We appreciate your support. You'll get the notifications of when we go live and all upcoming events. And also down below, you'll see the description for this show. And also you'll see that you can reach out to us, and the email address is listed below. And if you want to be on the show, reach out to us. We'd love to have you. Also, you can reach out to us and give us your feedback and share your ideas and your thoughts with the show. We'd love to hear from you. So reach out to us. Coming up next, after this video, Paul Smith and Donald Bellinger. Keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment.
The legendary Paul Ray Smith was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. Began his musical journey at just 10 years old when he accepted Christ and joined the junior choir at Canaan Missionary Baptist Church. His passion for gospel music grew as he sang with the Friendly Five and the Canaan Brotherhood Quartet, while also learning guitar and bass. In 1972, he joined the Gospel Hightlights, later known as the Supreme Hightlights of Jetburg, South Carolina. The group caught the attention of Bill Whitty, a well-known DJ in the gospel quartet circles, who recognized their talent and introduced them to the legendary Reverend Julius Cheeks. Reverend Cheeks was known for his hits like Morning Train, Just a Closer Walk, and How Far Is Heaven. Reverend Cheeks took them across the United States, performing in cities and towns from coast to coast, learning invaluable lessons. Donald Bellinger, born in Charleston, South Carolina, discovered his love for gospel music as a child in Summerville, South Carolina. Encouraged by his mother to attend church, his passion for singing flourished early. By the age of 3.5, Donald became part of the Simmons family, where his musical journey began to take shape. As a bass player, vocalist, and songwriter, Donald's talent soon became the foundation of his gospel group sound. After performing for over a year in the Charleston area, he crossed paths with Paul Smith. Recognizing Paul's extraordinary voice, Donald joined forces with Paul. The group's harmony soared, and their music took on another level of depth and power. Join me, Sonix TV1, in welcoming Paul Smith and Donald Bellinger, the exciting, the supreme gospel Hightlights.
Sonix TV1, welcome legends Paul Smith and Donald Bellinger to the show. How we feeling, fellas?
Man,
Good,
doing
good.
fine. Glad
Bless.
to be here, man.
Man,
Woo.
I am excited to have you guys on the show. You guys just have no idea how excited I am to have you guys on the show, man. You guys don't even know how much you guys influenced me as a kid, you know. So we're gonna have some fun today, man. This is gonna be epic. We got the chat room going crazy. Thank you guys for tuning in the chat room, sharing your thoughts. Get your questions ready. We want to share some of your questions today from the chat room. This is what it's all about, being interactive and having the input and feedback from the audience live. So we're grateful to have you guys. So everyone knows how we do on this show. We always start at the beginning of the book. So we're going to start at the beginning of the book of Paul Smith and the beginning of the book of Donald Bellinger, and also the very beginning of the Supreme Gospel Hightlights. Quartet, phenomenal quartet group that have inspired so many. So I'll start with you, Paul. Paul, tell me, what was childhood like growing up as a child? And tell me what was home life like?
Well, I was born and raised in Charleston, South Carolina. Early life was church, and more church. You couldn't sit around the house and, on Sundays and stuff like that. My parents and grandparents were firm believers in the body of Christ, and they instilled the values in us to where they wanted us to learn, be educated, and all that, and didn't have to go through some of the things that they went through in life. But I grew up singing in the choir, first accepting Christ at an early age, and then singing in the choir, and then began to start singing with men that was old enough to be my grandfather. And believe it or not, Bishop George Footman is the first one that really started me to singing, along with my grandfather, Mr. Willie Davis, Brother Willie Davis. He played bass guitar, and he got me into playing guitar. So I really was a guitar player before I was really a singer, believe it or not. And I just progressed along, and then me and Donald, we were at the same church as little boys. We grew up. Yeah, we were little boys. We grew up in the same church, and then they moved to Somerville, and we were still in Charleston, And over the years, we would see, different things. Matter of fact, Donald's father was a great carpenter. He fixed stuff in our house when I was coming up as a kid. Him and Donald's little brother Rouse, and we just had a I've had a really blessed life by having parents who believe in God and believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and after I got up some age, when I first saw the Supreme Highlights, and I'll leave it right there, and Donald could go on from more, because I could tell you, when I saw the Supreme Highlights and these older guys I was singing with, my grandfather, those guys, they didn't like it too much that I wanted to go with the younger guys. But the Supreme Highlights, man, they just blew my mind when I first saw them, man, And they were looking for a lead singer. And at that time, I must have was like 15, right, Donald? I think I was 15 years old,
Yep.
1972. I was 15 years old. And then I told my grandfather said, I can't hold him back. Say, he really, really is going to go somewhere with this music thing. He said, I feel it in my heart. I got with the Supreme Highlights, and that's where it was in 72. And that came about because of your aunt, Sister Inez Simmons. She's the one that gave us our name, gave that name, the Gospel Highlights.
Well, hold on to that thought. We got so much that we gotta weave here together. So we're gonna start at we're gonna frame this just so right, but we're gonna pick up that. Don't you worry, we're gonna come back to that. Donnie, what was early life like for you as a child?
My goodness, man. You know what? If I hadn't had God in my life, I wouldn't be here today. Thank God for parents who love God and love people and love life. All I knew was church. My sister was a minister. My brothers were ministers. My aunts were ministers. My mom was a missionary. My dad, not so much. There were many days we had to pull that old rascal out of the streets. He was a drinker, but let me tell you, he made us go to church regardless. Working man. I grew up in the projects right there in Charleston, was born in Charleston. And my dad worked nights, and he found this little piece of property in Somerville. And so we used to get up early Saturday mornings, go up to that little property and clear it out. And he started building this little house. And, from a kid who had nothing, and now my dad was building this house. What a foundation. Let me tell you, if you don't have a foundation, how would anything stand?
Amen.
And he built that foundation. And when that happened, my mom was looking for a church to go to, because like Paul said, we were going to the same church, man, as little kids, man.
Yeah,
But God is so good to start you so small, take you apart, and bring you back together again.
Yeah,
That's what he did, man. And I told Paul a few weeks back, I said, Paul, when we used to go to Kenan Baptist, they had these ushers. If you were chewing gum, they would have the little white glove and just put it in front of you. That means spit out the gum. All right?
Absolutely. So, Donald, this question is for you.
Yeah.
When did you start singing and playing? What age?
Oh my goodness. Now, like I said, my mom was looking for a church, and she found this little church in Jetburg, South Carolina, called New Bethel, Fire Baptized Church. And your grandfather, Papa, you understand?
Yes, sir.
My God, have mercy. When I met him and your family, from Deacon Shula, Sister Shula, Sister Wright, Deacon Moses, Brother Sammy, Sister Annabelle, Deacon Wright. Oh my God. Let me tell you, I fell into your family like it was mine. And I started going to that church as a little boy and integrated myself into your family as if I was one of them.
You are. Y'all are family. Y'all definitely are family. So when did you start singing? What age? When did you start singing? When did you start playing?
With your family, man, everybody play music and sing. So I tried to want to be like them. So we on the choir, I would be singing and whatnot. And we had a group come from Jersey to perform one night. And I sat in front of this guy and watched him play this guitar. And I must have been 16 years old. Didn't stop playing guitar until then. That Sunday night, I was so fired up, couldn't sleep. The next day, I told my dad, I got to go buy me a guitar. I got to get a guitar. Went to the pawn shop, bought me a guitar, and I learned to play that guitar. Must have been in weeks. Because when your heart is desired and you want to have something, you put everything in it. And Deacon Shula and Lil Ricky and I, we played and played and played and played. And it just came together. It was when you want to do something, God knows it, man. He knows it. And he fixed it for me. And I started playing and Deke said, man, we need to get a group. So I just started playing the guitar, barely could sing. You get a group already? We can do it. I know these two guys, brothers, that we can probably get with them because your cousin Shirley was dating one of them, and he said these preload boys. He said, but mind you now, these boys got afros like this. That was afro time back in the 70s. And I said, well, let's try it. Man, let me tell you, Tim and Paul, when we got together the first night, they thought, well, we're going to do a 4-part harmony. I'm going like, okay, I could barely do 1-part harmony. We started singing, and they said, well, Shula was singing baritone, Joe was singing second, and Tommy was singing top, fifth.
Who was singing lead?
I said, well, who's going to lead? He said, you're going to lead. I said, barely singing. You want me to lead? Let me tell you, when they threw that on me, I went and got every album. I listened to all the gospels that we were singing, and I learned word for word, verbatim, everything. Playing the bass guitar barely, and I'm leading. I said, man, how could this be? But let me tell you, man, it was so exciting. What a thing to be, man.
Amen to that, brother. Amen.
It was like coming out of the womb, eyes wide open, smiling and walking, right out of the womb. Tim, it was something. It was something.
Okay, Paul, how about you? When did you start playing the guitar and singing? What age would you say?
I started playing and singing. I started playing and singing around 10 years old. 10 or 11 years old. Mm-hmm. And I used to play in Vassapoo back then. That's where you played the open E with the one finger all down and then, And then I got to the point where Wilbert Gaines, who was a member of Supreme Highlights, he's not on the album, but he was in the service. And when he would come home off of leave, Wilbert would play with the Supreme Highlights. And he played rhythm guitar while Deacon Shula played lead guitar. But Wilbert played in 440. And that's what I wanted to learn, how to play in 440. And Wilbert began to show me chords in 440, and then I picked up stuff here and there, from different people. Because when you're in the music industry, you'll pick up something from somebody. Everybody just didn't learn everything to themselves. They bite off of even you as a musician, we pick up stuff from different ones.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what we did, man. And Deacon Shula was the glue that held the Supreme Highlights together, because he didn't stand for no foolishness. He said, if we're gonna do this and we gotta do it right. And we did things right, along the ways. And Ricky, which was his son, Ricky went on the road with us when he was like 7 or 8 years old. And he was all up and down the East Coast, to Florida, Massachusetts, Connecticut, everywhere. That was a big part. And even with your mother and father, they were a big part. All those people that were part of the fire baptized holiness movement back then, all of them were such inspirational people to us. Pastor Simmons in Newark, New Jersey. I mean, all of them was so inspirational to us, and they just and even we sung in the Church of God in Christ movement too, for Bishop Bell and all of them out in Tennessee, down in Florida, Bishop Anderson, all of them. So it was a big thing. The Supreme Highlights really moved on with the help of them. They were the ones that they didn't have to do that, but we thank God for everything that they did.
Well, the truth is, you just as much as you guys felt inspired by the family, we felt inspired by you, especially me. As a child musician, and I'll dive a little bit more into that a little later. But I want to still get this story shaped up a little bit more.
Exactly. You have to let me shape you up a little bit more about this young man, Paul Smith.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
Shape me up, man. Shape me up.
Yeah, I'm shaped up too. We all are these days.
Yeah, so for sure.
But I remember Paul because he was singing with his grandfather's group. What Canaan? What was the name?
Brotherhood Quartet.
Canaan Brothers Quartet. And I remember we were on a show with them and whatnot, and we sang and performed. And, I watched Paul, as we were singing, and I'm going like, wow. And Deacon Shula said, hey, I think Paul might join us. I said, you think so, man? I said, if that boy joined us, we could go places. That's what I told the boys. I said, if we get Paul, forget about it. I said, I know that we will be one of the premier groups in the Charleston area.
And you guys were for sure. And what age would you guys say you guys started writing songs? Because that's a pivotal. That's a point that helped shape y'all transcend from being musicians and from just from the just being in church to now you guys are on the road. So them songs, when did you guys start writing songs?
14 and 15 for me, and Donald was right with me because we used to go. Yeah, we were like 14 because Donald's 2 years older than me. So
hey, don't tell all, man.
We
here for the juice, man. We here for the tea.
Yeah.
You're gonna spill the tea today, for sure.
I was 14 or 15, and he was like 16. Yes. And we would actually get in my front yard, pull an amplifier outside, and actually write songs, man. Like the album the album we did on Savoy, I'm Going Up to Meet Him. All those songs we wrote right in my front yard, man. When we would have time off of the road, we would get together, and even while we were on the road, we'd be in the hotel rooms. Hey man, listen to this right here, da 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 da, and we would write songs. Like that. The Lord would just give stuff to you, man.
Yeah, we were in Nashville, and we had a chance to. Then Bobby Jones, we met up with him. Paul and I played with Bobby in his early days before he got as big as he was. And we used to be in Nashville, and this guy Donald Watkins, he opened his house to us for at least 2 months. Paul and I sat and we did another album on Savoy Records called Cross Jordan. Yeah. Me and Paul, we wrote like we were in Nashville. What you supposed to do when you're in Nashville? Nashville is
work.
That's right. Music capital of the world back then.
Absolutely.
And everybody wrote music and sang. Paul and I diligently just worked and wrote songs and put the music to it, the lyrics to it, and we sang and it was one of the most blessed thing that I can say I've ever done as far as music is concerned.
So,
And you remember, it was Milton Bingham who saw us. Because
Yes.
Milton Bingham used to be the A&R man for Savoy Records, and he would ride around with this little Maverick, Ford Maverick, fill up with boxes everywhere, going to different radio
Yes.
stations,
That's right.
doing the A&R work, back then. And he said, "Hey, man," he said, "I love you cats. I love what I'm hearing from you cats." Because Donald Watkins was one of the DJs on Fisk Radio for Fisk University
Yes.
back then. And he said, "I love what I'm hearing." He said, I'm gonna see if I can get you guys a deal, man. And he called John Daniels. John Daniels had never heard of us.
Never.
All he went off of what Milton Bingham was telling him. And that's when we
had the goods, man. You guys had the goods. You guys are the truth, And what was it like when you first stepped foot in the studio,
Oh, Lord.
Well, the first time we stepped foot in the studio was when we were with Hoyt Sullivan Enterprises. That's right. The very first album we did called Jesus Is My Friend. It was me, Deacon Shula, Donald, Ricky, Joe, and Tommy, and a man by the name of Bill Whitty.
Yes.
Bill Whitty saw us and took a liking to us, and he said, "Man, I can take you young cats somewhere." He said, "Y'all got potential. You got talent." Even though we didn't sing that, we just wanted to sing. Right. And we recorded that first album in North Augusta, South Carolina, believe it or not.
And that was the first album you guys recorded?
That was the very first album.
Yep, okay. Yep.
And then the next album we recorded was in
Nashville.
Savoy.
Yep.
In Savoy in Silver Spring, Maryland.
So you guys weren't signed yet when you first went in the studio?
No, we weren't. We weren't.
Okay.
We
so
weren't
you
signed.
guys just took that leap of faith, went in the studio, recorded the songs, and then those songs were shopped to shopped to Sue-Ann? You guys got
Sue-Ann,
picked up?
Sue-Ann, which was a subsidiary of HSE, which was Hoyt Sullivan Enterprises.
Right.
Yeah, out of Nashville.
Mm-hmm. And then so when that came out, it did some things, and you guys was it Reverend Julius Cheeks?
Well, before we got with Cheeks, we had put out another album after we had left Savoy called "This Train Is Bound for Glory." You remember the song about the train? The train took us around everywhere, man. And then when we were on Savoy, we got Rev hooked up with John Daniels, and that's when we did the album with Julius Cheeks, and it had 5 hits off of that one album. We went all around the country.
I remember that song, man. Y'all used to come and tear the house down with that one. Tear the house down. This train is bound for glory.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's it. That's right.
This train.
Yeah, that's what it was.
This train.
Yep. Come on, sing it to me.
We need to see about redoing that.
I don't even know how I remember that, man.
You did pretty good. You remember a lot. That's for sure. That's for sure.
So the next thing, you guys you got this record out, and now what was it that was the catalyst when the record came out that catapulted you guys to being on tour, and who was the first one to embrace you guys and put you on the road?
Oh my goodness.
The very first group that took us on the road, believe it or not, was the Swanee Quintet from Augusta, Georgia.
Swanee Quintet,
Mr. Charlie Barnwell, Red Anderson, Rufus Washington, Johnny Jones, Percy Griffin, and all them guys. Willingham had left already, but you had Gus and Johnny Mims were there, and Ben was playing drums back then.
Wait. Before Paul going any further, you see how he just ripped off all of those names from way back? The boys used to call him tape recorder because Paul remembers everything.
Oh, he don't forget nothing, man.
Oh, Paul doesn't forget nothing. He remembers everything. People, names, places, faces,
lyrics.
And with me, I used to map every time we would travel. I was the one to map out how we would travel. Now, there wasn't no GPS back then.
No.
Barely had a cell phone. You
Yeah.
understand? So I used to say, fellas, okay, we have to go to Indiana. We taking this route to that route to this route, and I said we should be there in approximately 9.5 hours. They go
Yeah.
like, okay, and we would be there within 10 minutes of that time frame.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. I
driving.
didn't even know how to read a map.
That's
I
right.
didn't know how to read a map. He was the one that taught me how to read a map.
Man, let me
You know?
tell you, me and this young man, we've been through ups, down, ins, and out. And but one thing that that was instilled in me before we left home, his grandmother say, Donald, she said, this is my boy. She said, you have to look out for Paul.
I'll
She
never
said,
forget
I'm
that.
putting that on you. I said, Mom, let me tell you, on the road, when I eat, Paul eat. When I sleep, Paul sleep. When I ride, Paul ride. When we have money, I have money, Paul got money. I said, you ain't ever got to worry about that. Because let me tell you, I was so glad to have that boy in the group singing. I would have done anything, man.
But
Paul's
no, here's
voice,
the
man.
kicker. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker, Tim. Before we left home to go on the road, Donald, Tommy, and Joe, they all had well-paying jobs. They had good jobs. I was still in high school.
Yes.
They waited until I finished high school. I
That's right.
graduated on the 4th, and we went and left on the 5th. Our first show was going to be in Philadelphia.
Ain't that
I'll
something?
never forget that. That
Yes.
really said something, man.
Well, you know what? You guys had a faith. You guys believed in it.
Oh, man,
and you
yes.
guys went for it. You know, like
That's right.
a lot of times people have gifts, they have talents, they don't cultivate it, and they don't have the faith in it. But you guys took that leap of faith. And as after high school, you know, that day after high school, you guys are on the road. That's just unheard of, and that's just meant to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes.
just
Like
meant
I
to
said,
be.
we had jobs.
And we went around they were taking up offerings for us, which we didn't mind. We didn't know, 'cause we know we had to pay our dues. And then afterwards, when things started getting better, then we were getting, contracts with X amount of dollars and this and that, That's just to show you how you have to pay your dues in anything you be in, as far as the music industry. And it's a dog-eat business. Even though it was gospel music, man, you had some rough, scandalous stuff going on.
Well, hold that point. We're going to take a little short break. You know, I got Going Up to Meet Him. We're going to listen to that. The listeners going to take a listen to that, and then we'll be right back after that. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment.
I'm going up to meet him.
Going up to meet him.
Meet him in the air. I'm going up to meet Jesus.
Going up to meet him.
Meet him in the air. You can talk about me as much as you please. The more you talk, I'm gonna bend my knees. The mean things you say about me,
That's right. We're going to meet them in the air. We're here with the one and only, the legends, Paul Smith, Donald Bellinger, the supreme, exciting, supreme gospel highlights. They're with us here today on Sonix TV1. So, fellas, we were actually sharing your amazing history and how you guys came to be. And one of the questions that was asked was, when did you guys come up with the group in New Jersey, the Brotherhood?
Legendary Brothers.
Oh, the
Yes.
Legendary Brothers.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Legendary
Well,
Brothers.
I had came off of the road with Willie Banks in the Messengers. That was right after a young man that played with the Supreme Highlights, Bill Badger, who was our guitarist from Yamasee, South Carolina. He was with the group then, and they had an accident coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, one Sunday afternoon, and Bill was the only fatality in the accident. He was 26 years old. And then, you know, for me being with Banks, that had kind of just crushed me when that happened. I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to play. I didn't want to do nothing. I was just totally devastated, you know, because it was a very shocking part of my life. But while I was there in Jersey, somebody told me, a lady by the name of Shirley Brown. She said to me, she said, you know, that's a part of life. And things like that are going to happen. She said, but you have a gift that God has blessed you with. It's no use to take that gift and just put it somewhere and hide it somewhere. She said, Paul, you know you can change people's lives by them hearing you singing.
That's right.
And then I came home in Newark, and Donald and Blood, they had the group getting together, the Legendary Brothers, and Donald could take it from there.
And we call it the Legendary Brothers because, like Paul said, Blood, young Blood, they called him in Newark. He had played with Shirley Caesar, and he played for the Mighty Clouds of Joy. Now, I had played with Reverend Julius Cheeks. We played with the Swan Silvertones, and we did a lot of playing for the Volunteers, the Keynotes. You know, when musicians didn't show, you were backup singers and musicians. So Paul and I, that's what we did. We backed up a lot of people. And so when Paul came home, I said, I said, Blood. And he knew Paul. And he said, hey, man, get Paul. Here we come again. I'm dragging Paul. I said, if we get Paul, we will move. Paul came to the group, and locally around New York, Connecticut, Philadelphia, and Jersey, the Legendary Brothers were like the talk for years. Every time we would come to a program, which we were scarce because at the time I was booking for the group, and everybody, and I told the guys, I said, if we be scarce from around here, don't show up to every program, people would want to see us. And so we played low and we sang. Your mom used to bring us up to Connecticut, and we were up there, and we would go all the way up in Springfield. We would be in Boston. We would go Islip, New York. We would go all in New York, Philadelphia, Maryland. And then everybody go like, why come you guys never sing? I said, we're busy. And when we would come to town, it was like this. People would want to hear us. Yeah. And the boys were just terrible. We would just make a mess of things. But it was just God, because we loved what we were doing. And the Legendary Brothers, we sang for years. And so recently, a couple of weeks back, we went up to North Jersey and Patterson, and we had a reunion with the Legendary Brothers.
Wow, that's amazing. You guys, you got, you know, the transformation of when you stopped singing, that was a blessing that, that brought you back into singing, because you to this day, have you guys touched so many people. Your voice, your singing, your playing has been a huge inspiration to so many. You guys you guys are my first inspiration musically.
Wow.
As a kid, learning to play, you guys were the first group, entertainers, singers, that I actually experienced. And you guys used to let me sit in with you guys and play
Yeah.
with you guys. I was a sponge. I was just soaking it up. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now, but I need to be like them. I need to learn. And so they would talk, they were just so patient with this kid. Everywhere they went, this kid just soaking it up. I'm like, I don't want to say a word. I just want to learn. and they were just so gracious and patient. They let this kid just sit in and play along with them and move around. And so they was like, you guys were my first artist I worked with.
That's right. But look where you are now. God has blessed you from then to now, and got you doing things that Paul and I are amazed at. The technology you have now, the ear that you have, and the places you've been, and the places you're going is like God. Thank God for you.
I thank God for you the same, man. I thank God for you guys too, because you guys, you poured into me. You guys probably didn't even realize how much you guys were pouring into me, but you guys was absolutely pouring into me, and I am eternally grateful for you guys. So it's a blessing every time I get to see you, every time I get to talk to you guys. So it's just, you guys just, I have a joy that wells up inside of me every time I talk to you guys and I see you guys. So just know, and that this is, you encourage and inspire people by what you do. So, I always want to say, keep going. So I have another question I want to get to. You guys have had many transformations with the names of your groups. And you and Paul have been at the center of it, for so long together. Tell me the first name of your group and who was in that group, and then the next group, and then the next group, and the next group, and who was in each of one of those groups.
You start off with the Supreme Highlights, Paul.
Yeah, the Supreme Highlights. We had Ricky Schuler, Deacon Schuler, his father, Deacon David Schuler. We had Donald, myself, Tommy, and Joe Prelo, and we also had their cousin, Sandy Dessasaw, who was our organ player, our keyboard player. That was in that group. That was a part of that.
Shout out to Ricky and Uncle David and
Darren. Yeah.
Definitely.
My dog, because she named you guys, I believe.
Yes,
right?
she
did.
Yep. And let me tell you, there were many days and nights we ate and sang in that house until we watched many of those kids being born there, because it was just Ricky and Kathy and I think maybe Eileen.
And when I went south to visit, I always made my way to their house.
You already know.
And so they was influencing me the same way. Darren, Ricky, Uncle David, everywhere they would go, I would be right there in that white van going everywhere.
Exactly. You remember that, right? Right there. And our next group was that the Legendary Brothers, Paul, up north?
Yeah, the Legendary Brothers.
That group, we had myself, Charles McElvin, Youngblood, Mike Nichols. We had George. What George's last name was?
George Johnson.
And then we Clifford Brower, a couple of his brothers, Reno and Quino. We had a lot of guys come in young. They were like you, Tim. They used to sit in rehearsal and soaked up everything that we did. And they played. I want to play. We let them play. We let them sing. There was Dennis Miller. There was Donald Williams.
Sheldon So Good. Sheldon Good.
That's right. Yeah. Sheldon. You remember Sheldon?
Erskine Barino and Jeff Williams.
Yes, that was that.
And we can't forget the one of them big. He went on to Doc McKenzie, brother Benny Hill. He's fast and gone. But Benny Hill went on to Doc McKenzie. Him and Dennis, they played with Doc McKenzie.
But we can't forget. Paul had a sidekick up the way. His name was Mr. Chico. Chico was the man.
Chico, yeah. Chico was with Chico Weathers. Chico was baritone singer. He sung with us and he sung with Willie Banks also. Yes, and a young man from right here out of Charleston, South Carolina, brother Richard Nelson. He came from the Swans gospel singers of
That's right.
Charleston, South Carolina. He
Mark was
moved to Jersey and he hooked right up with us too. So,
yes,
it
yes.
was like full circle, man.
Full
Yeah.
circle. Full circle.
That is awesome. I got to connect with Donald a few years back, and then when I connected with Donald put me in touch with Paul, and I was like, you know what, you guys need to do another record. And then and Donald was like, what? I was like, nah, brother, y'all need to get back to work. Y'all still got a gift. Donald was like, record another record. And then my constant prying with Donald, he goes, well, Paul, tell you the truth, Paul still sing like a lion, like a roaring lion.
Still does, don't he?
I said, that's perfect. I said, I'm so glad he still sings like a roaring lion, because that brother got a gift. And man, when I did get to hear Paul, he came out of the studio, man. When he came out here, man, it was such a blessing. We got to spend the day together. Spend some time together. Got Paul in the studio, man. We started recording some stuff. So I'm working on it. I'm working on it, folks. We trying to get this to go. So hang in there.
We gonna get it.
We gonna get it.
Come this far. Hey, but you know what? Through the years, we had the privilege to sing with the Mighty Clouds,
Dixie Hummingbirds,
Dixie Hummingbirds, the Consolers. Now that's way back. Swan Silvertones, Volunteers, the Hawkins Singers. Bobby Jones. You name any. You name them. The Clark Sisters,
Shirley Caesar.
It's like any gospel. We were there. Rance Allen.
Back in the day, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna have a first. We've never done this on Sonix TV1. We never actually had some singing on the show. We never had any singing on the show. They don't know that I'm going to do this today. I decided, these guys are so talented, man. They can sing anything. They can sing, play, So right now, it's just hitting my heart, that I want to hear some singing. So, Paul, we gonna give it a spot today. We going on the spot.
Hey, Donald, we'll do 2-part harmony.
Yeah. Well, this is what we gonna do.
What?
Paul, you go on take the lead. Donald, you take the bass. You take tenor, and I'll take the top. Paul, whatever's on your heart, man. Sing us a song.
Go ahead.
Okay. There is something, y'all. Something about the name Jesus. Something about the name Jesus. It is the sweetest name I know. Oh, how I love the name Jesus. Yeah. Oh, I love the name Jesus. It is the sweet. It is the sweetest name I know. Some people call me crazy.
Go, Paul.
But I can't explain.
No.
The power that I feel.
Come on,
when I call your name.
When I call your name.
'Cause at the name of Jesus, every knee's got to bow. Oh, yes. You don't have to wait for the fire. You can go on and shout right now. Oh, there's something. Yes, it is. Yes. Something about the name Jesus. Oh, yeah. Something about the name Jesus. It is the sweet. It is the sweetest name I know.
Oh
Oh
Lord.
man, oh man.
You just gave me. I just got the chills of life, man. Just it just
That
do
was so
something to your
cool, man.
spirit, man. Always does something to your spirit, man.
Thank you.
Just seeing you guys, hearing you guys, always does that for me. So you know, right here is a good place to take another little break, and then right now we're gonna have My Lord Getting Us Ready by
Oh, okay.
Supreme Gospel Highlights right here on Sonic TV1. Keep it locked right here.
Well, that was
Lord, I have something I'd like to tell you today. Listen here, my Lord, getting us ready for that great day. Yes, He is. I know He is. My Lord, getting us ready for that great day. Who shall be able to stand? My Lord, getting us ready for that great. Yes, He is. For that great day. Yes, He is. For that great day. Who shall be able to stand? Getting us ready. He's getting us ready. He's getting us ready. He's getting us ready. I know He's getting us ready. I know He's getting us ready. Time ain't long. I said the time ain't long. He's coming back. He's getting us ready. I'm ready. Getting ready. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready. Yes, I am. Time ain't long. I'm getting ready every day of my life. Yes, I am. Oh, yeah. Getting ready. Getting ready. Getting ready. Getting ready. Getting ready. Wait a minute here. Look at him. I have something that I'd like to ask you today. Look at here. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Is your soul fixed? Have you been washed in the blood of the Lamb? Saved and sanctified.
Wow. Whew. Always brings me chills, man. Hearing you guys sing and play. Took me back to being a child in church, man, with you guys, man. Woo! It was always anointed. It was always anointed, always blessed, always spirit moving, man. So you guys, how many albums did you guys get to make?
Wait a minute. Supreme Highlights. Jesus Is My Friend. Then Glory Brown Train. Glory Brown Train. What else? We did 2 Glory Brown Trains because we revised it.
mm-hmm.
So we did like 5 albums.
Like 5 albums?
We did like 5 albums.
Who was the primary writer for the albums?
Me and Donald. Tommy them did a little bit, but me and Donald did most of the writing. You know.
Wow. It is absolutely
we did one with the Legendary Brothers where Paul and Blood did the writing on that one.
Yeah.
In the singing lead.
And then I did a song with the Brow Brothers out of Newark, New Jersey. Did 2 albums with them.
I think so.
Did an album, Church Devil, titled Church Devil, with them on Jet Records, and we did Call on God. That was on Lollipop Records, which was distributed by the Bertelsmann Music Group. And then I did an album with Divas Redemption. It was me and 3 other ladies that sang.
I just got a question in the chat room. What caused the Supremes to break up? Which that was from the chat room.
Well, it wasn't that we broke up.
Right.
Break up. Uh, Donald got married,
It
and
was Joe
then
left first, right?
Joe first left. When
Yeah,
Joe
he got married.
Joe left, and Joe got married to Bobby, and then
Then I left.
Donald left,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I said, Donald had left. Then Bill Badger was with us, and Bill got killed in the accident. And the guys at that time didn't feel like they wanted to go on any longer, because my younger brother, he was playing bass in Donald's spot, and then Tommy, it was me, Tommy, Donald, and Reverend Julius Cheek's nephew, Booby, was our drummer then, and that's what kind of like got the group to kind of like split up and went our own ways. But is it funny how God does things? Now, I'm retired. I moved back to South Carolina. Donald retired. He moved back to South Carolina. Joe Prelo lives right over in Cross, South Carolina, and he's a preacher. And Tommy lives in Baltimore, and he said he might be seen about moving back down this way one day, after things are squared away. But if that was to happen, we could get the whole group. And Wilbert Gaines is already here. Deacon Shula and Ricky, they're here. Deke would probably be in a capacity of just, being our honorary emeritus supreme highlight guy, because he can't travel and stuff like he used to. You know what I'm saying? And
I want to get you guys in the studio. I want you guys to do another record, and I want to see you guys do another show. You guys need to do a concert. I don't know what it is, but I see you guys doing a show down in the South, somewhere down in Somerville, Charleston.
I'm planning a big show right there at the church next year. I'm planning. I tell you, I'm hooking it up.
Please,
big.
I need to be there.
You got to be there. You will be there.
I need that for my spirit. I need that. I need that.
Apostle and elect lady said, Deacon Bellinger, you got to bring. We want Quartet. We want Quartet. I said, I'm gonna bring you Quartet. So it's going to happen.
Well,
it's going to happen.
Speaking of Quartet, many may not even understand this. That is the sound.
Mm-hmm.
The name is Quartet Gospel. What that entails. Can you describe Quartet Gospel for those that may not understand or know quite what that really is?
Well, it's mainly dealing with the either 3-part harmony background or 4-part harmony background, and consists of a lead singer. And Quartet was like the basis of most all the music, whether it's contemporary or whatever. Quartet and contemporary gospel music have it's always been kind of like apart, but it was all there. Quartet, you mainly just have to sing the way you feel, the way the Lord give it to you. For instance, like say with choir, I did songs with choirs too. So I did a lot of songs with choir with George Syke and G3 out of Newark, New Jersey. I got to let you hear a couple of those songs I did with them, and the whole thing about the Quartet thing. The Quartet is a whole different genre from most of them. The choir, you got your choir, you got your quartets, you got your thing in your solo artists or whatever. But when you singing about the Lord.
That's right. But even though when you're singing about quartet, it's about 3 to 4-part harmony. And you can take that back to the #1 girl group in America back in '63, the Supremes. All right? How many were there?
3.
You understand? So, and then you go to Beyonce and the girls. You understand? All of that is the 4-part harmony. Everybody's getting in there and doing their thing, whether it's 3 girls or 4 girls. The harmony is what Quartet is about.
Well, you take the Temptations. They said they really, really learned their singing from quartet groups.
That's right.
Most of them came from like David Ruff and all them came from Mississippi, out where quartet singing was the thing. And
Woo.
right now today, I'll tip my hat off any day. The Mississippi groups, the Williams brothers, the Jackson Southernaires,
Right.
the
Willie Banks.
Christianaires, the Canton Spirituals,
Yes.
the Bolton brothers, all of those groups, Lee Williams and the Spiritual QCs, all of those groups have made an indelible mark on Quartet. And what I love about the Mississippi groups always work together. When Melvin and Doug and Leonard and them would record somebody or whatever, they put their groups on the map, man. They put them on the map, especially with them having Blackberry Records, the label, and that was their own label. But I admire the Mississippi groups. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people came out of South Carolina for us singing. Tommy Ellison from the Five Singing Stars out of South Carolina. Lewis Johnson came out of South Carolina, Swan Silvertone. The Dixie Hummingbirds out of Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Right.
Reverend Julius Cheeks, Spartanburg, South Carolina.
That's
Doc
right.
McKenzie, Lake City, South Carolina. So those people have left an indelible mark on Quartet, man. And we got our own little followers. We got our own little followers.
To me, it's a sound. There's a
Yes.
sound in the singing. There's a sound in the playing. There's a style altogether of its own. So when I listen to the sound, it has these elements. These elements of gospel, 3-part harmony, the voices, and the style of the singing is just very different. That you don't really find. They take it from the quartet and they putting it in other elements. For me, it takes on elements. You can add into it, but to me, it sounds like it has an element of the blues, the element of gospel. At its core is these roots, and also a touch of some country in there. When I listen to
three chords. The 3 chords you mainly hear in country are 3 chords. In gospel, you mainly would hear 3 chords back in the day. But that you're right about that. You took from some of everything, man. Especially with say blues and all that. Well, blues and them took from them.
Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. I feel like when it's the storytelling. That storytelling element. I think we would be remiss if we didn't get into that aspect, because even when the song opens up, the song might not even they might play 2 minutes and he's doing a testimony over the first 2 minutes of the song. Didn't even sing a note. The band just playing the same, keeping it right there, and he's testifying, and then all of a sudden here we go. We get right into a verse or a chorus, and then he might testify in the middle of the song or the end of the song, so it's just a whole style and flavor. And I feel like it influenced so many singers, like you said before. You got the Destiny's Childs, you got Beyonce, you got also D'Angelo, singers like that and groups like that. They just, it's just a heavy influence of that style. It's nothing like it. It's like a good home cooked meal. It's nothing like a good old home cooked meal, and that's what it gets to me. Like it gets down inside you. Like when you
can sop it up with a biscuit, right?
Just listen and sop it up with a biscuit. It just gets in your fiber and your soul and your spirit.
Man, that's right.
So it's a testament to the style of music, and a lot of styles of music like that. It doesn't really have that same flavor, that same. It just don't feed your soul like that. But just growing up around you guys, I always had that. Listen to you guys. I was like, it's nothing like that sound, man. It's uplifting, uplifting and inspiring. So it's a wonderful thing to have you guys today. So what's next for you guys?
Well, what's next for us? For you to hurry up and get finished putting this stuff together so we can put this album out. You were bugging me for the last 2 years. So that's what's next. We're waiting on Tim Rouse.
You guys hear this, right? They waiting on me. Right?
Everybody out there listen. Tim is an inspiring young man who has so much love, so much soul, so much in his head. And you remember that when we were in Vegas a few weeks ago? He's got all of this playing, and it has to come out. And
The
so
talent,
that's
the
right.
talent is just
Oozing.
exceptional.
That's
I
right.
mean, because he blew me away when I was there, and he was just playing stuff, and I said, I don't remember him playing like that when he was a little boy. But look, it's just, it really, man, made me felt so good. It felt so good in being able, because we stayed in there all night,
brother.
didn't we, man?
Oh
All
yeah,
night.
oh yeah.
We
We were
stayed-
just creating off the top. I said, "So Paul, what you got, man?" And Paul
Yeah.
said, "I got this piece of a song." I said, "Well, what you got? Let's hear it." And before you know it, we had a whole song. I went and plucked it all out,
And that's in your head. That's what you do, and that's what we're waiting. We know you got other things you working on, but we're patient. We're older now, Paul. We know how to wait.
oh no, we know how to turn it on, man. We turn up the gas, brother.
Yes, sir. Right. That's right.
We turn it
Right.
up.
That's right.
You guys are the same way. You guys get in there and you get a concept. Paul just came in. He said, "I got like 3 lines." What was the name of that? You came in with 3 lines. What was the name of the song?
Anybody been saved? Is anybody here today saved?
Sing a little piece, Paul. Sing a little piece.
Is anybody here today saved? Saved. Saved. That's all it is.
Anybody here today saved? How simple can you get? But so soulful.
And then you had another one. What was the other piece you had?
Oh, Tim, I can't think of it right now.
Oh my
I got joy in my soul.
Yeah.
And it flows like no. It's I got joy. This I know. And it flows like a river through my soul. I got joy. This I know.
Come on, Timmy.
And it flows like a river through my soul. That's enough. They got to buy the record to get the rest of it.
That's right. You gotta tap into that.
It's my soul. Paul, come on, Paul. It's like a river through my soul.
Yes, sir. I got joy. This I know, and it flows like a river through my soul. Yeah.
Nothing but blues and gospel.
Oh, I got joy.
Yeah.
We crazy, man.
Come on now. Come on. We having church. We having church up here on Sonix TV1.
Not church, but church.
That's right. That's right.
Church.
This is so good.
This just made me so happy today and have filled my heart and my soul and my spirit with so much joy. I can't even put it into words. Like I said before, every time I see y'all, every time I talk to y'all, it just does something to me, man. And you guys have opened the door to inspiration for me, and as a kid, I always embraced the people around me, and God placed people in my path that inspired me, that uplift me, and you guys showed me it was possible. Because as a child musician, I'm just hearing music in my head, and I'm hearing music in my heart, and I'm just trying to express that, and I don't really know what's happening. And I don't understand why other people are not hearing what I'm hearing. But I'm trying to, express what I'm hearing. And so I started learning to record, learning to write at an early age the same way, and then God just kept blessing it, So and then God blessed me with, singing parents, singing siblings, singing aunts, singing cousins, playing, and all the cousins, siblings playing, singing and writing. So it was just all inspiration. Then get down in the South, get to visit with, the family down in the South, spending time with my grandmother and grandfather and my aunts and my uncles. They running revivals. Uncle David, Ricky and Darren and everybody, traveling up and down the highway with Uncle Bill, Apostle Alan Simmons and, Nathaniel Simmons, and we just all up and down the highways and byways with revivals. And so all of this, and growing up with Andre and Ricky, Darren, and Brian, and all these, Natalie, and all the singers, and Michelle, and Crystal, and Jermaine, and all the singers and players, and Alan, and John and Chris, everybody's just playing and expressing themselves the same way. So it just enhanced and inspired you to just keep growing and expiring in the gifts and talents that God gave us. And we were just sharing it with the world, and sharing it in church and the gospel, spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ around the globe, just utilizing the gifts and talents. And so you guys have inspired and uplifted so many. So you encouraged me. So today I want you guys to be encouraged, be uplifted, be inspired.
Thank you.
Today is a day of that, So what are your last parting words for our listeners today?
I would like to say, whatever you do for Christ, it will last. And we need to remain steadfast, unmovable, and always abounding in the Lord.
And I can tell you that this has been a great afternoon here. Spending with two people I love, not like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Love is the most important thing that we ever have in life. And when you love one another, God loves you best. Just keep your head lifted. There ain't nothing that can shake me from the love and the faith that I have in my
I know that's right.
Jesus Christ. Because let me tell you, he's brought us from a mighty long way. 50 years ago, we left here, and look, we're back where we started from. And a lot of people start a lot on this journey, don't make it back. No, but we made it back home. And it's good.
Thank God.
And just keep praying for one another, because that's what God would want us to do. Love everybody. Love you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are amazing, and I'm so grateful that you guys are with us today. How can people reach out to you? What's the best way to reach out to you guys?
We always have Facebook pages that we have, but thanks to our brother Tim, we're going to have other ways to get in touch with us, and so we encourage anybody to just hit us up on Facebook. We will and can get back to you. We're still singing, and matter of fact, in February, we're doing a big concert in Columbia, South Carolina. So be on the lookout for that. And in the near future, we'll be having a big concert right there in Jetburg at Sounds of Praise, right there in Apostle Alan Simmons, our apostle, and our loving man. And we're going to have a big thing. Tim, you're going to be a big part of that.
I can't wait to be there, so please, we'll keep you abreast right here on Sonix TV1. We'll keep you abreast of it.
We're going to blow it up right there.
Absolutely. We thank you guys for joining us today, and we couldn't be more excited and happy to have you guys today. And we look forward to sharing some more breaking news about these phenomenal vocalists, songwriters, and musicians, and we're just grateful. Before I go, I want to also make sure I mention Tommy and Joe, because they were a huge part as well growing up in the Highlights. So shout out to Tommy and Joe, and hopefully we can get the rest of the group on here next time, or we can we expand the box. We got to get you back on. Hopefully before you guys we do that whole show in South Carolina, we'll get you guys back on the show. So we'll have you back. This is just scratching the surface of
my God.
We'll definitely have you guys back on the show. But thank you guys so much for being with us here today. We're grateful for you guys being here. So we'll have you guys back another time.
All right, man. A pleasure. God bless you too.
God bless you guys too. That was Paul Smith and Donald Bellinger of the exciting Gospel Highlights. Man, it did my soul and my spirit so great today. It just brought me so much joy today. I couldn't be I'm just over the moon right now. These guys, as a kid, have inspired me so greatly, and I'm just so grateful that they came through today and blessed me. You can find more about my music and my artistry and this channel on my website, sonixmusic.net, sonixmusic.net. We also are supporting, you can find all my merch on my website as well, sonicmusic.net/store. If you like anything, please support. We greatly appreciate you. You can find all about my music on my website, sonicmusic.net. All over, it's on all digital platforms, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon, you name it, Tidal. Please go check it out. Drop me a line. I'd love to hear from you. We're also supporting a coat drive. So Catch Society is having a coat drive. So please, ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of year that, certain cities is just freezing out. So we're supporting this coat drive. So we want to make sure that we help those that are less fortunate. So reach out at info@catchsociety.org as it's seen on the screen today. Please get out and support the coat drive. Next week, we have episode 13. We will be doing an anniversary recap of 12 episodes, so you don't want to miss that. And we'll have some special guest appearances next week. But episode 13 will be all about the anniversary recap of 12 episodes. That's right, we are 12 deep. As of today, we have hit 12. Right here on Sonic TV1. So please tune in next week for episode 13. And if you like what we do, please tune in, subscribe, and like the channel right down below. Subscribe, like down below, and check out the description, and you'll be a part of the notifications, and you'll know when we're going live and what we have going on. And who's going to be on. Also down below, you can find the email address. Reach out to us. We want to hear from you. We want to know what you think about the music, the site, the show. We want to hear your feedback. And if you'd like to be on the show, please send us an email. Reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today on Sonic TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars among stars. I greatly appreciate you joining us and spending your time with us today. Be inspired, be uplifted, be entertained. I am your host, Sonic, and I'll see you next time right here on Sonic TV1. God bless.